So I thought I'd make this video. I gotta go to work on my first day of job at a casino grocery store. And I posted a video, just some thoughts, Jersey Shore, someone meeting their biological father, and I thought of myself and want to talk about a little bit of my biological father in the situation. I don't know who gets to watch this video. Mikayla, her mother, my mom's psychologist, supervisors who take care of her, or whoever it may be. But as far as meeting my biological father, especially after watching this episode and several other episodes that I've seen before, a lot of the times it's not going to be good, because it is the truth. I don't know who that person is. Maybe he was a bad person. It's a little bit different with me with this particular situation, because my name is Hector just like him, and I was named after him because my mother told me, goes, no, yo te pongo Hector, yo lo pongo Hector. And I remember my mother sort of doing this, and look, I gave you Hector. And she was thinking of the guy that had done this, that had created me in this world, that was was with my mother. And it could be very bad. It could be very bad in a situation. Maybe he was an asshole. Maybe he was a bad person. Maybe he was someone that you wouldn't want in your life and be reunited with. But the reason I don't think that's correct is because my mother and my father, I remember the experiences. He gave my mother, child support money. Mikayla's mother met with my mother, and there were a number of events that had happened. Now, I don't know if he's a reborn Christian or he believes in God again. I don't know what those circumstances are. Maybe he's, whatever the situation is. All I know is the experiences I've made videos about. He bought me a Happy Meal. He took me to school for about a week, and I remember him crying knowing that his daughter died. So I do remember that, but that wasn't the truth. His daughter died, which was living next door to us at the time, and which is my sister, my only biological direct sister. So the fact that my mother has dementia and is not able to take care of herself anymore and hasn't for a long time, and I've been extracted from her life permanently by the people that are the psychologists and the people that are controlling her, and the people that they're ordering to control her, which is her identical twins, which is not their fault, it'll never work. Simply because of that. Because it's basically my word versus Sarah Cooper and Ken Cooper's word and what they did. This is why Sarah and Ken Cooper didn't say anything about it, because they could go after my biological father, and Sarah Cooper wanted to make sure she could staple my father, Raymond Paloma, to my mother. This is how bad it really gets. This is the evidence that I'm telling you now. How is it that Mikayla's mother doesn't even know my mother, makes efforts to call my mother, makes efforts to meet with my mother, makes efforts to meet each other, and set my father up at a grocery store to meet each other? That takes a lot of love and a lot of care. She showed up to the church, and they swarmed and attacked her. There was a lot of crazy shit that was going on. Why did Sarah and Ken and Kenneth didn't say anything about it, and they're supposedly had their grandpa and they're showing up to the funeral, hanging out with Jillian, and me didn't say anything? That's how crazy and intense that motherfucker is. Kenneth Cooper works at the radio station, and his mom and dad especially. But as far as I have anything to say with it, time has gone by so much that I very, very sincerely believe that it's ever going to be good. And the reason is not because of me and him and my mother, because of the other people that chose to dismantle every fucking thing that they could. Now, it's been 5 years since I saw Mikayla. She didn't say that I was her brother. She knew. And I don't know if she's working with a psychologist or whatever the situation is. She might have not wanted to tell me, because she might have not wanted to tell me because maybe my biological father's still alive and he had a stroke. Maybe he also is in a handicapped position and he can't take care of himself. And all these homosexuals are going to get mad because my father who raised me is gay and is deceased. But I've had 1,000 people come over to me and disgraced me, saying that my father who raised me only used me because he was gay and he needed something to use me. Okay, bye, get out of here. And that's all he was worth, and that wasn't the truth. But no one knows. I've already talked about these videos and how my father did tell him to not let him come and call again. And this is the jealousy and guilt that isn't. My father's dead now, and it was him. But it was also maybe a good choice because he didn't have enough money, and he really wasn't going to make anything happen to the financial money that he was making. So I've had a lot of people also at gas station. Like I went to a gas station like 6 years ago, and I still remember this. How there was some woman that said, "Yeah, because that's what you got." And the reason that he got to have a baby with a blonde white woman was because the gay community found out that I was surrendered and given to my father who was gay, and they decided to throw him a woman, and then he got her pregnant, and that's how Mikayla showed up into the world. And I've had people tell me that to my face. So, you know, the reason I just know it's never going to be, I know it will never be contentful because there's too many homosexuals and too much bad things that they persecuted against my mother, me, and all the publicity is not all the celebrities, all the singers, anybody that can get their hands on my mother are doing that right now to this very day. I don't know if I'm ever going to meet my biological father if he's still alive. But as far as it goes with Mikayla, I know that Mikayla's mother would probably care for her biological father at some point, even if she got into a different relationship. But I do know, someone had told me, you know, recently, a couple months ago, I'm not trying to rabbit trail my conversations, but someone had told me and said that he was begging for money on the streets and he was a bum and he was just a beggar, and he said, anda pidando, like he was a piece of shit, and they threw him to the streets like they did me. I wouldn't doubt it either. If I had cancer and I had chemotherapy and I was raped and they threw me to the homeless streets and shelters with no money or anything for 5 years, 6 years before I could get disability and still continue to throw me to the streets, what do you think they did to him? They don't. President Barack Obama is the one that did that to him. Because the exact same place where I met Barack Obama is where I saw my biological father, and that was the real last time I ever saw him. And that's why when I turned around and I saw Barack Obama and he was putting a lot of money in his wallet, he was taunting my father. Say, oh yeah, you think you're going to go with your real biological father? No, all he was doing, he was a piece of shit. That's what I'm talking about. So, I know that Mikayla's mother wouldn't have, if all the publicity was going on, would have protected him as a person. Yeah, all I have to say with this particular subject is, you know, I don't know if Mikayla wants anything to do with me. Mikayla, maybe she just, to my opinion, if she saw me 5 years ago at a homeless shelter, you know, it wasn't 5 years, no, at Magic Time Machine, and then 2 years go by and I see her when I'm 37 years old. I'm 40 years old now. She knows that I told her I was a chemotherapy bone marrow transplant. I directly told her that I was raped by a transgender and I was sworn by the gay community. I directly told her and said, I didn't even know she was my sister, and I directly told her President Barack Obama is involved, and I told her with terror in my eyes that I was going to be murdered or killed by this son of a bitch, this piece of shit motherfucker of what he's organizing with his gay community. To be careful for your own life as well. But if you don't hear from me, he killed me. He's not going to... You got to understand that that person is an SS Holocaust Nazi soldier for the Black Niggas Panthers. Whatever goes on in whatever circumstances, it doesn't fucking matter. He's a president. He enjoys killing human beings and dismantling for his political gain and power and personal choices that he wants to make upon my mother and my life. And he did. That's why I was thrown to the streets. That's why I was mauled apart by all these scum motherfuckers that were so disrespectful and unkind to me. No matter how intense I was kind or generous, they always showed disgusting behavior toward me like I wasn't even a human being. Talking shit about my mother, controlling her, her money, my biological father being a piece of shit, and my father who raised me was just gay and used me, threw me away. It was very difficult for you to spend your entire life with someone, and that's what the gay community had done. And it's because Julian's gay. They know his twin is gay. They know Marco and they're gay. And they know that Ken Cooper's white, blonde hair, blue eyes, German police officer detective, he can persecute against my mother, and he's going to be playing the hero. You can tell how bad this is by what I just told you, that's saying that they didn't know, and that's why, because my mother already had dementia. If she had this stroke, and they're not telling me, or she had this dementia when I was 20 years old, or before, when she had that forklift accident, that's why Sarah Cooper did. I'm so mind blown at the hatred of what these two people did for so long, regardless, and then using their kids to persecute me. Mikayla, please be careful with your life. The reason I say this, because when you were over at Lawrence Community Shelter and you were there, Madison, who Sarah Cooper's granddaughter is, was over at Walmart. And I didn't say anything to this person who was mauling apart our dead sister right in front of my face. And say, oh no, it belongs over there. I'm taking care. I didn't say anything. I didn't say one word. I just stayed quiet and let this person just say whatever they were going to say. I didn't say anything. I didn't know if it was exactly them, but I was almost sure of it, but I didn't want to say anything. I just was going to do my job. And I was working at Walmart, putting stuff on a pallet, stocking shelves for food, but it was only for like an hour or so. But I wanted to make this that's how our sisters being persecuted, is that they're sending their kids, and you have no idea how bad and how hateful this situation really is. But I know, as far as my mother, I know my mother would have been content if she was healthy. I can imagine my mother would have been crying to see my father reunited. My father, but now my mother doesn't even barely remember me. That's how Kenneth is going to get his benefit gain. Because remember Kenneth at the radio station? Oh, that's right, hip-hop station. He's fooling me the entire fucking time, and that's why the police officers, I got over 25 tickets, because that's who was doing the killings and pushing me down and destroying me, not living any existence of a normal, comfortable life. Why someone else is going to do the harm. So, but Mikayla, I don't know, maybe she doesn't care, there's a high chance that she doesn't. I hope one day, I hope she doesn't think of that, but it has been 5 years. I think 5 years is way overboard to say that my life, she was and is the last string of hope I have in this life. There's going to be so much of war simply because my mom has dementia and you're straight and I'm straight, and the people that went after your family and you and making things difficult and dismantling it. It's a very entangled situation, and they're doing everything they want in the background scenes. The President of the United States is directly, Barack Obama shouldn't have done that. He's using me to kill me. And you don't understand how persecuting and how nasty this individual is. Please be very careful with your life and who's around you. There's thousands, hundreds of people, bus stations, bus drivers, people on the bus. When I get it to the grocery store, they all want to represent him, and these people. It's all against me. All of it is. Whether it's Ken Cooper, Kenneth, or my mom, or my biological father, or Julian, or Marco, all of it is, or old friends. All of it is directing hate toward me. All of it. There's nothing that's good about it. Nothing. And people will go insane if they saw a camera of what was going on and what these people were doing to me in order to persecute me innocently. I hope everything's well. Stay safe, Mikayla.